You sit there sometimes looking at the numbers on a screen or a statement folded and unfolded too many times. Nothing is wrong. And yet something feels tight inside. You worked for this, saved for this, waited for this season of life. So why does spending even a little feel so heavy? You might tell yourself you're being sensible, careful, responsible. But late at night, when the house is quiet, another thought appears. A softer one you rarely say out loud. What if I use it too fast? What if I need it later? What if I make the wrong choice? You don't panic. You don't complain. You simply pause. And that pause stretches longer each year. You may notice how you hesitate before replacing something worn, how you talk yourself out of small comforts, how you say maybe later even when later never seems to arrive. You don't call it fear, you call it caution. But your body knows the difference. There is a quiet tension that wasn't there before, a careful holding back, a sense that safety lives in restraint. You might watch others enjoy retirement in ways you don't. Travel, spend, relax, you smile for them, you're glad they can. And somewhere inside, a question stirs, why can't I feel that ease? You remember years when money was uncertain, times when saving felt like survival, moments when one wrong move could unravel everything. Those memories didn't leave when work ended. They stayed, they settled into your habits. So now, even with enough, your nervous system still acts like scarcity is nearby. You might feel proud of your discipline and tired of it at the same time. There's a strange guilt that appears when you consider spending on yourself, as if enjoyment must be earned again and again, as if rest needs permission. You ask yourself questions you never had time for before. How long will this last? What if I live longer than expected? What if something happens? You don't finish those thoughts. You just feel them. And so you delay, not because you don't value life, but because you value security so deeply. That's something few people say kindly enough. Your hesitation is not foolish. It's not weakness. It's the echo of a lifetime spent being careful. For decades, spending meant consequence. Mistakes were expensive. Recovery took time and energy. Your mind learned a powerful lesson. Hold on, protect, endure. That lesson kept you safe. But now the context has changed, even if the feeling hasn't. You may notice how planning brings comfort, but also tension. How certainty feels soothing yet impossible. You might ask yourself, how much is enough? And notice there is no answer that truly settles your chest, because this isn't really about math. It's about trust, trusting the future, trusting yourself, trusting that life doesn't end the moment you loosen your grip. That's a hard shift, especially for people who survived by holding tight. There is also something quieter underneath, a fear that once you start spending, time becomes real. Money saved feels like time stored, like proof you planned well. Spending can feel like admitting the season has changed. And change, even good change, carries grief. You may not miss work, but you might miss the structure, the clarity, the sense of building towards something. Saving gave purpose. Spending feels open-ended, and openness can feel unsafe. So instead of saying, I'm afraid to spend, you say, I don't really need that. And maybe you're right, but need isn't the same as nourishment. There's a difference between surviving and living gently. You might wonder when it became so hard to receive, to enjoy it without calculating, to say yes without checking the future first. It didn't happen all at once. It happened slowly, through responsibility, through love for family, through doing the right thing again and again. Those habits became identity. So now, loosening them feels like losing part of who you are. But there is another way to see it. What if your caution is simply asking to be updated, not erased, not ignored, just reassured? What if the part of you that saved so carefully is the same part that deserves ease now, not extravagance, not recklessness, just permission to breathe? You don't need to become someone else. You don't need to change overnight. Awareness is enough to begin. Noticing the pause, not judging it, listening to it kindly. Asking gently, what am I protecting right now? Sometimes the answer isn't money at all. It's dignity, control, independence. Those matter deeply. Spending can feel like risking them, but withholding joy can quietly cost something too, not in dollars, in moments. Moments you can feel but never recover. This isn't about doing more or proving anything. It's about recognizing that safety also includes emotional safety. Feeling at home in your own life. There is room for care and enjoyment to exist together. They don't cancel each other out. You are allowed to hold both. Many people discover that peace doesn't come from never spending. It comes from trusting themselves to notice when fear is speaking louder than wisdom. Fear shouts. Wisdom whispers. Wisdom sounds calm, patient, respectful of your history. It doesn't rush you. It simply reminds you that you are not the same person you were decades ago. You have experience now, perspective, a deeper understanding of what actually matters. You don't need perfection. You need enough ease to feel human, enough softness to enjoy a quiet morning, a shared meal, a small comfort that warms the day. These aren't indulgences. They are acknowledgments of a life lived fully. It's okay if trust comes slowly. It usually does. Each gentle choice builds it, not by forcing yourself, but by allowing yourself. Allowing doesn't mean abandoning care. It means letting care include you too. You spent years thinking ahead. Now, there is value in thinking present, not all the time, just enough to remind your body that it's safe now. You don't have to prove your worth through restraint anymore. You already did the hard part. And if you still feel uncertain, that's human, not a failure. Uncertainty doesn't mean danger. It means life is still unfolding. You're allowed to participate in it at your pace, with your values intact. There's dignity in enjoying what you prepared for, and there's wisdom in doing so gently. You don't need to conquer fear. Just understand it has been trying to protect you for a long time. Now it can learn to rest beside you instead of in front of you. Nothing has to be decided today. Sometimes the most meaningful shift is simply realizing that the door is unlocked, and you are allowed to step outside when you're ready.